What if the soul of a country lay not in its cities but in its silent landscapes? Beyond Istanbul's skyline and the noise of markets lies another Turkey, carved by wind, water and centuries. A land that remembers empires but lives through its villages, its stone valleys and its endless horizon. This is the hidden Turkey. Anatolia. The name itself means the land where the sun rises. It is here, on this vast central plateau, that the story of Turkey truly begins. Civilizations have passed like the changing of seasons. The Hittites, the Phrygians, the Lydians, and later the Persians, Greeks, Romans, and Seljuks. The heart of the land lies not in its borders, but in its breath. The dry wind that moves across fields of golden wheat. The same wind that once carried the dust of caravans along the Silk Road. In places like Konya, ancient trade met spirituality. Here the Mevlevi order, the whirling dervishes, found their rhythm of prayer and dance in the 13th century, following the poet Rumi. To watch them spin in white robes is to see Anatolia's pulse, still measured eternal. Anatolia's people live by the land. Shepherds lead flocks through volcanic hills. Farmers still rise with dawn, carrying water from stone wells. Generations preserve the same recipes, songs and crafts that once filled caravanserais, roadside inns built by the Seljuks for travellers and traders. Each cracked wall, each echo of footsteps on marble tells a story of movement, of people who never stopped crossing this heartland. Few places on Earth resemble another planet more than Cappadocia. A region born from fire and sculpted by wind, its soft volcanic rock was shaped into towers and valleys over millions of years. Long before it became a traveller's dream, it was a refuge. Early Christians carved churches into the cliffs, hiding from persecution within the earth. Entire underground cities, like Derinkuyu, descend more than 60 meters deep, once home to thousands. Ventilation shafts still whisper with the air of the past. At sunrise, Cappadocia awakens not with engines but with fire. The roar of hundreds of hot air balloons lifting through a mist of pink light. Each balloon drifts above valleys with names that sound poetic even today. Love Valley, Rose Valley, Pigeon Valley. Below, ancient cave homes remain carved into the rock, still lived in by families who have inherited both stone and silence. Cappadocia's beauty is quiet. It does not shout, it breathes. Every eroded curve, every distant echo from a cave chapel reminds you that humanity's earliest prayers were whispered here, beneath the same sky. From the heartland, the road west leads to a wonder born from water. Pamukkale, the Cotton Castle, Over thousands of years, mineral-rich springs have cascaded down the hillside, leaving terraces of glistening white travertine. The sight seems almost impossible. A frozen waterfall made of stone, glowing under the Anatolian sun. The ancient Greeks believed these pools were blessed by the gods. Nearby lies Hierapolis, founded in the 2nd century BC, where Romans built baths and theatres overlooking the shimmering cliffs. Walk barefoot through warm water that still flows today, and you are touching layers of history, each ripple connecting modern travellers with those who sought healing centuries ago. Pamukkale reminds us that nature writes its own architecture. The terraces are still forming, still changing, sculpted by time, drop by drop. If Anatolia is Turkey's heart, the Aegean coast is its memory. Here, the land leans into the sea, olive trees bowing towards turquoise water, ancient stones half buried in sand. Ephesus, once a Greek port and later a Roman city, still stands in astonishing preservation. Its library of Celsus rises like a marble facade of knowledge, its columns catching morning light as they did 2,000 years ago. It was here that traders from across the Mediterranean came to sell silk, spices, and stories. Further south lies Bodrum, known in antiquity as Halicarnassus, birthplace of Herodotus, the father of history and site of one of the 7 wonders, the mausoleum of Halicarnassus. Today, yachts replace triremes, but the rhythm of the harbour remains unchanged. Fishermen mend nets on the same docks, where merchants once unloaded amphorae of wine and olive oil. Across the coast, villages like Alaçatı and Datça preserve a different tempo. Stone houses painted white and blue, narrow streets scented with bougainvillea. In the evenings, music spills from taverns as locals gather over meze and tea. This is living history. Culture not in museums, but in motion. Away from the coasts, Turkey's soul retreats into its mountains and small towns. In Safranbolu, narrow lanes lined with Ottoman mansions recall the 17th century's golden age of trade in saffron and leather. The entire town is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, its architecture untouched by rush or modern noise. In the Black Sea region, mist drifts through pine forests, and wooden houses cling to steep hillsides. Villagers still make cornbread and tea by wood fire. Each morning the call to prayer mingles with the crows of roosters and the smell of rain. Farther east in Kars and Erzurum, snow covers fortresses built by empires long gone. The ruins of Ani, once known as the City of 1,000 Churches, stand silent on the Armenian border, their arches open to wind and time. Here history is not polished, it stands raw and magnificent. Turkey's hidden life is woven through such places, the unseen, the unhurried, where hospitality still defines the day, where tea is offered before questions are asked, and where the traveller is never truly alone. To see Turkey only through its landmarks is to miss its essence. It is a nation of layers, geological, historical, human, a mosaic formed by empires yet held together by something simpler, belonging. From the terraces of Pamukkale to the caves of Cappadocia, from the olive groves of the Aegean to the snow-filled valleys of the east. Every part of this land tells a story not just of what was, but of what endures. Turkey's landscapes are alive. They breathe, they whisper, they remember. And somewhere in that vast silence between mountain and sea lies the true meaning of travel, not to escape, but to return to the world itself. In the far east of Turkey, where borders touch Armenia and Iran, rises a mountain older than legend, Mount Ararat. At 5,137 meters, it is Turkey's highest peak, standing like a crown above the clouds. For centuries, it has been more than a mountain. It has been a symbol of endurance and faith. Many associate Ararat with the story of Noah's Ark. Said to have come to rest upon its slopes after the flood. While no evidence has ever been confirmed, the myth still breathes life into the mountain's silence. Local Kurds call it Agri Dağ, the mountain of pain, for its fierce beauty and unpredictable storms. Few climb it, but those who do describe an ascent that feels spiritual. The air thins, the world fades, and the summit greets you with a silence older than time itself. From its peak, the view spans across 3 nations, a reminder that Turkey's geography is not just land, but destiny. West of Ararat lies Lake Van, a vast inland sea shimmering at 1,600 meters above sea level. It's the largest lake in Turkey, formed by volcanic eruptions thousands of years ago. Its water is alkaline, clear and luminous, reflecting the sky like glass. In the lake's center stands Akdamar Island, home to a 10th century Armenian church built from volcanic tuff. Its stone reliefs depict biblical scenes, weathered but eternal. Fishermen here still use ancient techniques, casting nets for inci kefali, the endemic pearl mullet that survives only in these waters. When dusk falls, the lake mirrors the heavens so perfectly that sky and earth seem to dissolve into one another. Locals say Van's beauty comes not from its mountains, but from its silence. It is a silence that reflects both history and peace, a calmness born from centuries of change. Stretching across southern Turkey, the Taurus Mountains form a vast natural wall, a frontier between Anatolia's highlands and the Mediterranean coast. Their peaks rise beyond 3,000 meters, capped with snow even in early summer. These ridges were once crossed by ancient armies, from Alexander the Great to Ottoman caravans. In their valleys lie forgotten ruins like Termessos, a city built high above Antalya, known as the Eagle's Nest. It resisted Alexander himself, its people vanishing into history, leaving only marble walls swallowed by forest. Nomadic tribes known as Yoruks still travel these mountains with herds, following ancestral routes through pine forests and rivers. Their black tents, woven from goat hair, dot the slopes like shadows. In their songs and stories, the Taurus Mountains are not barriers, but home, the enduring backbone of Anatolia. Where the Taurus Mountains meet the sea, Antalya unfolds like a living postcard. Known to ancient Greeks as Attalia, it became a haven for sailors and merchants along the Mediterranean. Its old harbour, Kalaisi, still retains Roman walls and Ottoman houses, with wooden balconies draped in flowers. South of Antalya lie some of Turkey's most remarkable archaeological sites: Perj, Aspendos and Side, cities where amphitheatres, temples and streets of marble still stand under open skies. The theatre of Aspendos is among the best preserved in the world, still echoing with performances 2 millennia later. Today, Antalya blends ancient heritage with modern rhythm. Tourists fill the beaches, but beyond them, olive groves and ruins remind us that time flows in layers here, each century leaving its mark like waves on stone.